Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Friday Night Smackdown review. And tonight's Smackdown was from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. And tonight was the start of the 2019 WWE Draft. And it started tonight on SmackDown. It's going to continue on Monday Night Raw on Monday night. And this SmackDown tonight, this show sucked, in my opinion. This was a garbage show. Absolutely shitty show. I mean, the show tonight, in my opinion, was booked terribly. And everything that went, with this draft. The draft, in my opinion, so far has done absolutely nothing for me. Nothing. It did nothing to change anything so far. But who knows how the draft is going to go on Monday Night Raw. We'll just have to wait and see. But overall, SmackDown tonight was a garbage show. Absolutely shitty show. So let's get on with the SmackDown review. So, Friday Night Smackdown opened up tonight with Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. And, whoever won the match, their brand gets to get the first draft pick. So, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. And before the match got on the way, Seth Rollins and Roman, guess they ended up pounding or shaking hands before the bell rang. And the match itself, it was very meh, in my opinion. It was kind of slow, in my opinion. Like, nothing to me that I saw in this match was, big or anything. Like, made me go, oh my God, But in the end, Seth Rollins ended up getting the win by disqualification because the lights end up going out. And we see the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. The Fiend pops up through a hatch, a hole in the ring. And the Fiend ends up dragging Seth down under the ring, through that hole. And the lights end up coming back on. Seth is just lying there in the middle of the ring, gasping. And we see the Fiend pops his head up through the hole. And, it was smoke. The hole was smoking. There was smoke coming out of the hole. And so the lights go back out. And we see the Fiend appears on the stage. And pretty much that's basically how how that ended. But overall, match itself, it was very meh. So I'm like, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns are possibly going to be staying on, their brands that they, are on. And, this match didn't make any sense if, they were going to switch brands, both either Seth or Roman. So, and, you have Seth Rollins, he's still the Universal Champion. He can't, and, since he's the Universal Champion, he can't not move. So, we all know that Seth and Roman are going to stay on their brands. So, but the Fiend here, WWE here is just continuing the storyline with Seth and the Fiend. I guess they want to have a rematch between Seth and the Fiend because of the controversy and the backlash that the fans gave after that horrible ending to their Hell in a Cell match, which was god awful. It was possibly the worst end to a Hell in a Cell match I have ever seen in my years of watching wrestling, my almost 20 years of watching wrestling. But, WWE is going to continue it with Seth and The Fiend. But overall, match itself with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, very meh. And like I said, the match, this match doesn't make any sense because we know Seth and Roman are going to still be on their brands. They ain't going anywhere. Seth is still the Universal Champion. But moving on, we had Stephanie McMahon come out. And she ended up coming out. She complains about how the fans are now booing her because I guess she gotten used to the fans, booing her all the time when she would make her way out. So she ends up welcoming us to the draft and announces that since Seth Rollins won the match by disqualification, the first pick goes to Raw. Goes to Monday Night Raw. So she ends up announcing that the first pick for Monday Night Raw is none other than Becky Lynch. And, of course, this draft was broken into 4 rounds. And so Becky Lynch got the first pick for Monday Night Raw. And she goes to announce that for SmackDown, the first pick for SmackDown is Roman Reigns. So Roman is staying on SmackDown. The next picks for Monday Night Raw are the OC, Styles, Anderson, and Gallows. They're staying on Monday Night Raw. And then we get the last pick for SmackDown in the first round. Oh, wait. Yeah, SmackDown's last pick for the first round of the draft. SmackDown gets Bray Wyatt. So, it was kind of a shock, but to me, it was predictable because there was an article that I read like weeks before the draft saying that Fox wants Bray Wyatt, wants The Fiend on SmackDown, and it looks like Fox got what they wanted. Bray Wyatt's on SmackDown. And when the rounds of the draft were happening, we saw like the War Room for Fox, and we saw the War Room for Monday Night Raw for USA. And you could tell by when they showed them, you could tell that this was all like fake reactions. It was cringe just watching all those people in the war room for Fox and USA. That's basically, when I was watching that, I'm like, man, these reactions are fake from these people there. You can obviously tell that it was scripted, and they knew that that they were going to get, that these superstars were going to get drafted to either SmackDown or Raw. But also the last pick in the first round for Monday Night Raw was Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre, he's staying on Monday Night Raw. So far, the draft, it's like it stayed the same except for Bray Wyatt. For Bray Wyatt going to SmackDown. Everything else, just the same. So then, we saw Renee Young. There was like a draft reaction panel there. It had her, Booker T, Samoa Joe, Beth Phoenix. They were just there through the night reacting to the rounds for the draft. And then we had Boring Corbin, King Boring Corbin. He ended up coming out. And When he came out, he had a mic in his hand. Corbin got on the mic. He says, it doesn't matter where he's drafted. He wants us to know he'll be a benevolent king who will share his riches with us. He's like, nah, not really. He wouldn't give any of us anything. He says he's just going to sit in his castle as far away as he can get, because he can't stand the smell of filth coming off all of us. Okay. Absolutely garbage, garbage promo that Corbin cut. And then for the fourth time, we see him versus Chad Gable. And oh my God. When I saw this tonight, I was like, no, they didn't. No, they fucking didn't. WWE changed Chad Gable's name to Shorty Gable. And this was rumored for, I guess, like a month in an article that I read, claiming that WWE was going to change Chad Gable's name to Shorty G. And it looks like tonight, they finally did it. They finally fucking did it. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. This was fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. I ain't calling him Shorty Gable. I'm calling him Chad Gable from now on. Fuck calling him Shorty Gable. That's what WWE wants us to think of Chad Gable. So, the match itself, we've seen it before. This is the fourth time. What is there new to see with Corbin and Gable? Gable, he's still, entertaining, but we've seen it 3 times already. This is the 4th time we're seeing Corbin and Gable go at it. Anyways, Corbin ends up winning End of Days on Gable. That was basically it. What more can I say about this match other than that we saw these guys go at it for the 4th time already? Shorty Gable. Can you believe that shit? I still can't believe it. I still can't believe WWE changed his name to Shorty Gable. I guess because they like the small jokes, the short jokes that they've been cracking on Gable. So WWE's like, oh, why not? Let's go with changing his name to Shorty Gable. Fuck out of here. Then Stephanie McMahon comes back out. She starts the 2nd round in the WWE Draft. Since Corbin ended up winning, the 2nd round pick started with Monday Night Raw. So Stephanie ends up announcing that the 2nd round pick for Monday Night Raw is Randy Orton. So Randy Orton's going to Raw. SmackDown, she ends up announcing that SmackDown picked Sasha Banks. So Sasha is going to SmackDown. So that's obviously, predictable because, Sasha did everything on Raw. Have some, new competition on SmackDown. And then Raw got Ricochet. So Ricochet is staying on Monday Night Raw. SmackDown ended up getting Braun Strowman, which obviously I knew that SmackDown was going to get Braun Strowman because, like I say, he's another one who has done everything on Monday Night Raw. So, Braun Strowman is now on SmackDown. And I can't believe this. Oh my God, I hope that they move this woman superstar to SmackDown, because to close out this round, the second round of the draft pick, Monday Night Raw got the pick, and Bobby Lashley was the last pick in the second round for Monday Night Raw for the draft. And I'm like, oh my God. Bobby Lashley's still staying on Monday Night Raw. And I hope to God they move Lana to SmackDown, because I don't want to see any more of the storyline with Bobby Lashley and Lana. That is absolutely cringe-inducing bad. And it made Rusev look like a fool. Look like a goddamn fool there, as what we saw on Monday Night Raw. Going into 2 weeks with that whole stupid storyline between Bobby Lashley and Lana. Oh God! Please let them move Lana to SmackDown. I don't want to see this storyline with Bobby Lashley and Lana continue. I really don't. So then we had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. They came out. Both of them were in the ring. Heyman does, of course, his "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman." And he says he came out here to enlighten and educate all of us. He says, when a normal human being is confronted by a fear, they shake and quiver and have nightmares about their fears. Heyman says, what does Lesnar fear? He fears one thing: to relieve October 23rd, 2010. When Lesnar was in the UFC, that was the night he took on Cain Velasquez. I'm not a UFC guy. Never been a big UFC fan. Never watched it. I've seen little like clips here and there, but I'm not that big on the UFC. So that was the night when Brock Lesnar took on Cain Velasquez. He ended up saying Cain Velasquez beat, victimized, bloodied, and conquered Brock Lesnar. He says Lesnar has no excuses for that night. But he said last week, when he won the WWE Championship in 5 seconds, Rey Mysterio forced him to confront this fear. Heyman says Brock doesn't fear fear. He embraces his fears and conquers them. He says, little more than 9 years after that fateful evening, he'll conquer the fear and conquer Cain Velasquez. Heyman says that's not a prediction. He was about to say it's a spoiler, but then he got interrupted by Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio came out. He also came out with Cain Velasquez. Mysterio ended up getting on the mic, and he ends up saying to Paul Heyman that he must have forgotten some footage of Velasquez. So Mysterio ends up showing a video that are pictures from that night, from October 23rd, 2010. So a little like refresher for Brock Lesnar if he forgot it. So Cain Velasquez was speaking in Spanish, and Rey Mysterio ends up translating that because Cain Velasquez said he'll beat Brock again. And Rey Mysterio translates what Velasquez said in Spanish. He says that is a promise to give Brock a matching scar on the other side of his face at Crown Jewel. Because earlier today, there was a press conference in Vegas before SmackDown even started. I didn't even watch it. They announced that Cain Velasquez is going to be taking on Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel, and it's going to be Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury at Crown Jewel. And just by the news of that, I could not care. I don't care to see these matches. I'm not hyped for them. I just don't care. We saw how Crown Jewel was last year. You think Crown Jewel is going to be a good show this year? On a 1 to 10 scale, 10. Well, I don't want to even go that far though, but from 1 to 10 on the prediction scale of 10 being a shitty show this year for Crown Jewel, it's going to be a 10. Watch. Crown Jewel this year, it's going to be another show from Saudi Arabia. It's going to be a shit show. Just like how Crown Jewel was last year. That was a piece of shit show. So then we see like Lesnar, looking on like he was like, wanted to conquer the fear, but it showed fear in his face. Because this was the guy who defeated Lesnar at that UFC. But honestly, the segment, it was meh, in my opinion. And from what I heard from people who watched the press conference today, they said it was cringeworthy. It was cringeworthy and like terrible. Thank God I didn't watch it. Then we saw the New Day versus the OC 6-man tag. Match itself, it was a okay 6-man tag. Not great or perfect by any means. But the New Day got the win. Kofi ends up hitting the Trouble in Paradise to Styles. And basically that was that. So this was the OC's final match on SmackDown because they're now on Monday Night Raw. But all in all, it was a okay 6-man tag. Then we saw Stephanie McMahon. She came back out, announced round 3 of the WWE Draft. And the first round 3 draft started with Monday Night Raw. And their pick for that was Alexa Bliss. So Alexa is staying on Monday Night Raw. SmackDown's pick was Lacey Evans. So the lady of WWE is moving to SmackDown. Raw's next pick was Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens is going to Monday Night Raw. He's going to be away from Shane McMahon whenever he returns. And SmackDown got the Revival. So just when the Revival won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, you knew that they were going to SmackDown. This was not shocking because when they won the SmackDown Tag Team titles, right from there you knew that they were going to SmackDown. That was like the first draft pick of them winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championships because we were like, oh yeah, so that should be the first pick for SmackDown. So we all knew the Revival was going to SmackDown after they won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And last up for Monday Night Raw in the third round for the draft, Raw ended up picking Natalya. Then SmackDown went to commercial. SmackDown came back, and Stephanie was still out there. She was ready for the fourth and final round for tonight's WWE Draft picks. And she ends up starting, of course, with Monday Night Raw. So, Raw got the Viking Raiders, or I'm sorry, the War Raiders. So the War Raiders are staying on Raw. SmackDown ended up getting the Lucha House Party. I'm not shocked by that. Then Raw got Nikki Cross, so Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, they're still going to be a tag team together. And SmackDown ended up selecting Heavy Machinery. And the last pick in the fourth and final round for the draft picks tonight for Monday Night Raw. The last picks for Raw were the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. So they're going to be staying on Raw. They're still going to possibly be a walking billboard for Monday Night Raw, saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to see this tonight." Oh, did you see that? They're going to be a billboard for Raw still. They are going to get the Street Profits in the ring on Raw. I wish that they would have still stayed in NXT. I wish Triple H kept the Street Profits down there in NXT, because at least they get in the ring on NXT and have great matches with anybody that steps, forward and and takes on them in a match. I wish they would have stayed in NXT. I wish Triple H kept them down there, because on Monday Night Raw they're just billboards. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna see this tonight. Oh, did you see that? What was your reaction to that, Angelo?" So that was the fourth and final draft picks for tonight. Going to continue. The draft is going to continue on Monday Night Raw on Monday. But draft so far, like I said, did nothing for me. I wasn't blown away. I'm like, okay. So then we had the main event. Bayley versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Rematch from Hell in a Cell. And Bayley ended up making her way out. Charlotte made her way out, and then Bayley made her way out. Bayley made her way out. She was showing off a new haircut, which I like Bayley's short hair. I think she still looks pretty in that, in the short hair. And, she has her Bayley buddies come up on the stage, as always, during her entrance. And her music ended up cutting off. So I'm like, this is weird. And Bayley's just standing there on the stage. And the Bayley buddies are still, going. Bayley ends up pulling out a pickaxe. And she ends up just slicing the Bayley buddies. She ends up slicing all of them. And I'm like, okay, this is finally heel Bayley. This is heel Bayley so far. I'm liking this. And then we had the match. Bayley versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Match itself, it was okay. It was back and forth between the both of them. And Bayley, it was doing decent here in the match. And, Bayley was arguing with the referee. Charlotte ended up hitting the natural selection. This was what was happening at the end of the match. Bayley was arguing with the referee. Charlotte ends up coming up with the natural selection. Ends up, pinning Bayley. Bayley ends up countering, rolling up Charlotte. So because of that, Bayley ended up getting the win. She wanted to roll up on Charlotte. So Bayley is now a two-time SmackDown Women's Champion. And it was really cool. And I wanted the title off of Charlotte because Charlotte, 10-time SmackDown Women's Champion, too much. Don't give any more title shots to Charlotte because she should be, she should not be winning any more titles. 10 titles, was enough. So, but we don't want her to break the record and be like, like her father, Ric Flair. So, but Bayley ended up getting the win, two-time SmackDown Women's Champion. Post-match, Bayley ends up getting on the mic, and she says, "Hey, bitches." And I'm like, whoa. Never have I heard Bayley, never have I heard Bayley curse like that. So she goes, "Hey, bitches." Crowd, really likes that. And she ends up saying, "Screw all of you," which got, boos from the crowd. I'm like, yes, this is the Bayley that I want to see. This is the heel Bayley. Finally, heel Bayley was born tonight. Heel Bayley went full force at the end here. And I say, this was the only thing I liked about SmackDown tonight was Bayley, doing that, and heel Bayley finally being born. But I remember I said, I talked this with my friends. I'm like, oh, if WWE ever turned Bayley heel, she would be a shitty heel. I tell my friends, I don't see Bayley being a heel. And this happened, and this happened tonight. Bayley is in full heel now. I'm like, my opinion changed. I said to my friends, I'm like, oh yeah, I think Bayley will make a shitty heel if WWE ever turn her heel, but this was surprising. Bayley did not suck at being a heel with what happened and what she said. With her taking the pickaxe and cutting the Bayley buddies. I'm like, okay, this is not that bad. And then when she got on the mic, and when she had that that attitude, I was like, whoa. I had to say, all right, my opinion has changed now. My opinion changed. I think this could be decent if WWE doesn't fuck it up with Bayley. But what am I talking? WWE, they have every little intention that they could to fuck things up. But yeah, I really liked what they did with Bayley here. This is heel Bayley in full force now, and I like it. So, to me, this is the only good thing that I liked about SmackDown tonight. Everything else, very meh. But yeah. Anyways, that's it for my review of Friday Night Smackdown. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the review. And definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And until next video, I'll see you all later.